and are signing on. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get the session going. So first point, this session is being recorded. It just started. So if you need to drop off early, if you just want to sit back, enjoy the conversation and take notes later, not a problem. We will share the replay with you afterwards. Second, please ask Q&A questions. We have a Q&A panel. You can ask any questions you want. You won't get a lot of opportunity to connect with people who are as awesome as our panelists are today. So take advantage of it. Ask any KubeCon-oriented questions that you might want to ask and have answered. And finally, please feel free to say hi, to introduce yourself, to tell us where you're joining from throughout the world. Whatever you might like to share with us, you are more than welcome to do so, so long as it is kind, inclusive, and welcoming, because this is a lovely community space and we want to keep it that way. So, today's goal, straightforward and simple. Help everyone who joins us get the most out of their KubeCon experience. So whether this is your first experience, your fifth experience, you've done a bunch of KubeCons, there's always tons of things going on, different stuff that's happening, so much to take in. And that is why we put together this expert panel today. So I'm going to let them all introduce themselves. We will kick this off with Abby Bangser. Why don't you tell us, Abby? You can tell everyone who you are, what you do, and why you know so much about KubeCon.
Sure. Hi, I'm Abby Bangser. I am from the US, but living in London. So I haven't quite picked up the accent in a decade, but I'm hoping one day it'll come. I work as a principal engineer at Syntasso, and we create Cradix, which is an open source framework for building platforms, internal developer platforms. And I'm also a CNCF ambassador and involved in team topologies advocate. And so I just sort of sit at that intersection of socio-technical problem spaces. It's something that I really am passionate about. As for why I know so much about KubeCon, I've been lucky enough to be able to attend and speak at KubeCons since Detroit in 2022. And I am very lucky enough to be one of the 3 co-chairs for this upcoming event in Atlanta. So I've been hard at work behind the scenes, making sure that the schedule will be as tip-top shape as possible with the other co-chairs.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I think actually we met each other in Detroit the first
I think we
time.
did.
Your
Yeah.
first one and mine also. Yeah, absolutely. Epic night of singing and no voices later. So very cool. So happy you joined us. Up next, why don't we go with George? Welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you know so much about KubeCon.
Yeah, speaking of Detroit, I'm George. I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, pretty close. That was like my home KubeCon. It was neat. It's the first one I got to drive to. I've been to so many KubeCons since 2016. I can't even remember. But I'm a staffer at the CNCF, and I've worked on the projects team, and now I am director of end user ecosystems or something. We're not sure on the title. We'll find out at KubeCon. So I'm here to share my tips and kind of share stories and have a good time. There's a good crew.
I absolutely love that. I love the title. It literally means you do a little bit of everything, which you do.
Yeah, it's awful.
A question, George. Hi, question about anything in the universe, and you figure it out. So thank you so much for joining us. And that leaves us with Mr. Andy Martin, the gentleman himself. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you know so much about KubeCon.
Well, I was trying to place which KubeCon was in Detroit, because that seems to be the thread that ties all of my KubeCon experiences together. Hi, I'm Andy, founder and CEO at ControlPlane. I like cloud native security engineering, people and process, and how to really foobar everything professionally. And yeah, I was trying to count. I didn't make it to the first 1.5 KubeCons, I think, but I've been studiously following the map around the world for the rest of them. And yeah, really looking forward to it. I've only been to Atlanta once, so I'm also looking for tips in a general sense for where to go and eat.
Oh, very good. Do you know that there is a Sig Foodies? There's a
I did
repo.
not.
Yes, I am a co-founder and co-maintainer of Sig Foodies. Actually, there's a repo on GitHub. I will share that link with you and anybody else who's interested later. Of folks who attend KubeCons and events in different cities and share tips for where to find the best food. So welcome, new member of Sig Foodies.
Fabulous.
Absolutely. So we're already hearing about events and things on the outskirts of KubeCon. So let's dive in the KubeCon. It is an absolutely epic event and it just keeps growing. We've got now hundreds of sessions, dozens of tracks, more co-located events than I can even count this year, thousands of attendees. It's seriously, even if you've been there before, it's a lot to navigate. So let's start with a little bit of strategy. Abby, you are a co-chair of this event. You probably know a bit about the agenda at this point. What's your advice for newcomers on trying to just kind of wrap their head around everything that's going on and especially figure out what things on the agenda they should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I think one of the parts of the agenda is that there's around 200 talks across the 3 days of the main event. And so that is a lot to get your head around. But there are a couple ways in which it gets sliced. So there are tracks, so that will get you a bit focused. There's, for example, observability and operations and platform engineering and app developer. And so you can start to get focused on the areas that are going to be most impactful to you. And there's also levels, so beginner, intermediate, advanced, and all. And so again, you can sort of focus based on where you think you would be most applicable to your experiences and to like what you want to bring home afterwards. But I think that one of the downsides of having multiple tracks is that you can narrow your focus so much that you're like, I am a software developer, so I'm just going to go to the app developer track, and that's all I'm going to do the entire time. And I think the point of those tracks is both to give you clarity, but also to give you a sense of the breadth and give you an opportunity to sort of spread some of your time and energy across. So be aware of them, but also be aware of the trap that can be set there of getting too narrow into a single track.
Yeah, because this is a great opportunity for people to actually learn and be in contact with new things that might be adjacent to what they're already doing, right?
Definitely.
And also some of those tracks, I was looking at the schedule, my mind was totally blown by the depth of technical content that is there. Andy, you are super security centric, super deeply technical person. How can people kind of navigate those technical talks without burning themselves out?
That is a very good question. I mean, from my perspective, I will start off by looking for things that have spicy titles. Have a scan of the schedule. Is someone about to drop some bombs in this talk? Especially if there's somebody I know with penchant for harboring opinions, let's say. So I'll try and prioritize those because I often find by the time I've been through the schedule a few times, I am quadruple booked at some sort of key moments of the day. I mean, this year I'm really interested to see where we are with the entire agentic decomposition and re-gluing back together, because evidently that is a Wild West-like scenario, and there's a lot of different threads and competing talks in terms of sort of paradigms that people are proposing. So I'm super interested to sort of work my way through those. In terms of avoiding sort of ultimately being burned out, it is always a long week. So making sure that I've had a decent rest the weekend before, I actually try and get in a little bit early so that I have lots of candle to burn by the time I get to sort of the attendee walk around in the sponsor showcase, at which stage it's only halfway through. So yes, drinking lots of water as well.
Absolutely. That's definitely part of the event experience. You're already touching on trends, and so George, I really wanted to ask you about this because you are so deeply involved in CNCF. You're talking to community people all the time. I know you're probably going to be in the project pavilion. What are the trends that people are going to be hearing about? Clearly AI and platform engineering, but within those trends, within those spaces and themes, what are the trends and projects that we're probably going to be hearing about, and what surprises await us?
You know, that's really interesting because I was going to tell you platform engineering and AI, but it really depends what you're looking for in there, right? So to add to the first question, I think when you go in, have a plan of some kind, right? Like I don't recommend going in and booking every single talk for yourself on a day. You're gonna be shredded. So like budget for breaks in there, budget for you not going to a slot at one point so you can take advantage of all the other diverse things that happens around. Remember that the talks are recorded and they usually come out a few weeks later. So if you go and you find a talk is too full or whatever and you're just not feeling the vibe, the thing that you're trying to capture from the talk is the ability to ask questions afterwards and see who that person is so you can follow them to the project pavilion and see them at their booth and then you get to talk to them. But platform engineering, usually if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I was like, is that the backstage thing people are talking about? And it was very, okay, I guess a bunch of people are talking about this and it's a new co-located event. Now, these days, I feel it's like a lot of things that organizations are talking about that kind of has subsumed everything. So no one's saying DevOps anymore. No one's saying ops teams. Everyone's just saying platform engineering. So I'm actually asking a lot of questions like, what does platform engineering mean to you exactly? Like how big is a platform engineering team? What are platform engineering teams actually in charge of? And as I ask around, it's not that nobody knows, but that the definitions are it depends on the organization, the vertical it's in, the industry it's in, the tech stack. So it does kind of tend to, it's a big gravity well that, grabs a bunch of stuff. So that I think the important thing that I'm trying to figure out this cycle, because I don't have an answer for you, is the AI people who are talking, they're all talking about deploying the stuff in production. This is the stuff that gets hyped up in other conferences, and this is the conference for the people that actually have to deploy the stuff. So that AI workloads are platform engineering's it feels like that's one of their biggest struggles. So that's what I am trying to figure out. I'm going to be like, what patterns are you seeing? What processes for success? Because a lot of it isn't technical, right? It's like what your org is, how you're organized, what your budget is, what you're in charge of, that kind of thing. I know that was a total non-answer.
I think it was super interesting reviewing the CFPs because I think that both platform engineering and AI are probably the two biggest trends. If you just look at the number of talks that mention them, if you just look at the scale of the tracks and all those things, but they are definitely at different stages, in my opinion, from the way I was reviewing the CFPs, because the platform engineering the papers that people proposed talks for, had a lot more grounded case studies this year than what I'd seen at previous events. We're starting to get, more of those years of experience under belts where it's less theoretical and it's more concrete. There's still a lot of figuring it out. I think you're 100% right that there's a lot of different definitions. There's a lot of subsuming of previous practices being just renamed rather than changed that we have to sort of still untangle and deal with. But you are getting these case studies that you're seeing real success with, versus when I was reviewing a lot of the AI related talks, and this was across all tracks, just to say AI showed up in every track quite extensively. But one of the trends I noticed was there was a lot of using AI to do something, and there was a lot of deploying GPUs or deploying the infrastructure behind AI, but there was a lot less how do I build AI into like the software I'm building, like into my product. And I think that's just, it's coming. To Andy's point, this is a little bit of the Wild West. This is a little bit of figuring out what that looks like. People are using AI to figure out what the use cases are that they want to then offer in their products. So I suspect we are 1 or 2 KubeCons away from getting a lot of those really grounded years of experience, months to years of experience case studies coming in for the AI side, but we are definitely starting to get that on the platform engineering side, which is really exciting. So.
Yeah, I keep hearing this over and over again. AI is everywhere, but truthfully, I think in this particular space, if AI hadn't have come on the scene, we would only be talking about platform engineering right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Truthfully, it seems to be the underlying thread to everything and anything that's actually taking place and being productive at this point. So Very interesting and super interesting to see as well. We have a platform engineering co-located event as well as a platform engineering track now. That's how much it's grown, right? And that's how
Yeah.
much people are actually starting to invest in this. I think one of the things that I am excited to ask people is how do you define your platform? The answers that I get when I talk to people, well, how do you define your platform are just astounding, the range of answers to that. Some people are defining
Yeah.
it by their tools, some people are defining it by a workflows, some people look at me like, what are you talking about? It's so I'm really excited to have more of those conversations with people and kind of figure out how they even actually define what the platform is. So
Mm.
very, very exciting. We'll wrap this part up with a quick lightning round. One
Ooh.
session from each person or a keynote that you're especially excited about. Andy, go.
Strengthening supply chains with cross-cloud salsa attestations.
Ooh. That's a good one.
George,
Can I go last?
sure.
I want to know
Abby,
what trump
go ahead.
card you're holding there, George. I think good friend Sebi is speaking on harmonizing platform domain with Kubernetes and custom resource definitions. I think building platforms on top of Kubernetes is where we need to be, and he's going to be talking all about that. So
Very cool.
Mean's going to be the end user executive summit because it's the first time I've been to this. This is not a session. This is like an event that happens, but it's something where end users are really involved with, and my job is to take that and bring that back to projects and bring them project information. So I don't really have a talk I'm looking for. However, the project pavilion stage is open all day, and what happens is maintainers will be submitting their own talks at this little stage. So you have the planned talks, but you also have these little ad hoc talks at the project pavilion. We have no idea who's going to submit what until we get there. So,
and that's a new one, right? Just to call out
this
for, as you
is,
said, Courtney, new. Even if you've been there for years and years, there's
yeah,
things to learn about every KubeCon. So
yeah. We tried this last KubeCon and it was kind of went off like a dud. So we put a bit more effort into it this time and resources. So we do a lot of prototyping. It's like, okay, that will be good if we tried a little bit harder. But usually what happens is a volunteer or somebody's hovering around and hey, you want to help me make this better next year? Wink, wink. And then they fall for it.
I love how you
So,
are totally
yeah, I'm
transparent.
hoping to see a lot of ambassadors there, actually. It's going to be very ad hoc, things like that. Yeah.
Very
And we'll be
cool.
announcing cool things at the keynote. So.
Awesome. Awesome. So moving on, a main track is a big deal. We just talked a lot about it, but there's tons of other things going on at KubeCon. It is actually like an entire week-long community event. So Abby, tell us a little bit about co-located events and surrounding events that
Mm.
people should be keeping in mind this year.
yeah, as you said, there's a bunch. I want to say something like 18 of them or something. There's just so many great topics, and some of them are
So many.
very specific project oriented, and some are more trend oriented. So, I'm clearly from my introduction going to be attending and excited about the Platform Engineering Day, which focuses on sort of more of the cultural side of platform engineering to differentiate itself a bit from the track that's at the main event. So yes, it talks tech, but it talks how that affects the org and your teams and the way you work a lot more than just, here's how we use a project to implement our platform engineering initiative. I'm also super excited to see Open Feature have a summit. I think seeing what Open Telemetry has done, seeing Open Feature be moving in that direction for feature flags is fantastic. And a little shout out to the hard work that goes into Cloud Native University. So I think that there is, it's easy when you've been around the industry for a while and specifically this community to think that everyone knows it all already. Everyone's advanced, but actually there's still so many people and companies and yeah, just opportunity to learn more about Cloud Native and to welcome the almost 50% of attendees that will be attending their first KubeCon. So the work done with Cloud Native University, I think, is really great and worth shouting out.
Oh, I love that you gave a shout out to the number of people it's their first KubeCon. That question on the first day at the keynotes and the number of hands go up is always astounding
It's
to me.
always it's always over 50%. It's been that way the entire time I've been here.
It's
Like
crazy.
4 years.
It's absolutely insane. Also, I remember my first KubeCon and thinking, "Wow, I can't believe I'm doing this." And now I'm like, "Wow, life only happens between KubeCons." Because
I
once you
know.
do one, it's like then you're in it.
Look how
Um,
tired I look. And Abby's probably way more tired.
No, it's the poor track chairs that are going to be so tired coming into KubeCon. They're
Yeah.
all doing the CFP reviews for Amsterdam coming into
I
KubeCon.
have
Oh,
heard
I know the deadline. The deadlines. It's
I'm on the
brutal.
backside. I'm going to be
Yeah.
like stealing naps after KubeCon in between doing CFP reviews as a co-chair for Amsterdam. But coming
Yeah.
into KubeCon, it's all the track chairs who have the heavy load. So
Because a few Sundays ago, I was definitely working on my submissions. That's for sure.
And this Sunday as well, co-located submissions close
Yeah.
for the next
Well
co-located
reminded.
round. So
November
Yeah.
2nd.
they also
Yeah. I got a few things for you for the co-located events. And
yeah, go for it.
if you have a ticket you don't have access to those, we have Project Lightning Talks happening literally all day. It's absolutely free for all the attendees, so they don't have to pay extra. And that's hosted by Gerald Venzel, Lori LaRusso, and Catherine Druckman. And they do a CNCF project every 7 minutes, does a lightning talk all day long. We go through just about so many of them. It's incredible. And you can pop in and out too. It's designed to be very consume as much as you want and then bail. That's really good for us because we send a lot of new people there. And the session the hosts give is like how to read the CNCF landscape, how to find where the project pavilion is. So that's a good orientation if those of you listening are never been before. And then after that, you're like, okay, I figured it out. And then you can bail and then go get what you want. And also for projects that aren't yet large enough to have a co-located event, this is the first year we have a stage on the showcase floor. That's basically mini versions of those events for the smaller projects who are on their way to hopefully having their own co-located event. So you can check those out as well. It's on the schedule somewhere. I should have been more prepared on that one. Yeah, there's like 3 stages happening at any any given time.
Time. A star will be born, I'm sure,
Yes. Yes.
during this event, or a handful of them. Andy, you've got co-located event stuff going on as well. FluxCon, it's the first FluxCon, right?
Yes, there is all sorts going on. We've had GitOps cons before. There's been an Argo con, but Flux finally has its own eponymous event, and yeah, we're super excited. It's a half-day event, although we had enough submissions to probably cause a track chair some issues for a number of days. So super stoked,
Amazing.
really excited. But there's loads of other stuff going on. From the tag security and compliance perspective, that was one of the original 0 days years ago. And then it was 2 0 days, 2 zeros make an infinity perhaps, and it was a 5-day week every time we did it. That then moved out into its own conference. And then in London, we had neither a conference or a 0 day. So we're back. We now have SecurityCon happening on day 0 as well, which I'm super stoked about. That is fellow ControlPlaner and co-chair of Tag Security, John Shell, is leading that with a number of others. We have got, of course, everything going on with Kyverno have their own. There's all sorts of other bits and bobs going on there. I'm quite excited as well. There's, the Kubernetes and AI Day. Again, all AI is running on Kubernetes more or less. It's all trained and a lot of inference. And so super excited to see how, as Kubernetes expanded the telco workloads, for example, all of a sudden we had a load of new requirements that weren't fully contemplated when it was originally designed, but rightly and necessarily so. And now with GPUs being mounted everywhere, we have a new set of requirements. Sort of seeing how they've been operationalized will be extremely interesting as well. And then of course, yeah, platform engineering. There is The entire premise is to move security teams out of the hot path for approvals, to actually get stuff done. But then, of course, that's predicated on things being correctly architected, engineered. And again, at a certain scale, no organization can really exist without removing all those roadblocks to innovate, the speed of innovation. So yeah, super stoked. Again, there's lots of niche security interest stuff, like why attestations are good or bad for various things. We've got some quantum resistant algorithmic stuff going in there as well for network security, Spiffy Spire, confidential containers. So yeah, really excited. And they are transcending across the different streams. They don't all necessarily sit in the security 0 day or the security track. They're all over the place. So yeah, really pleased to see the work that has been done by the chairs and all those who supported them.
This is also super exciting to see security more prevalent in different tracks and places, right? We should all be security minded and security first. And so at least for me, I think it's great that we're seeing more security across different events and platforms. Because I think it was Dead on Kubernetes Day as well. I saw a couple of security talks and I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. It's like something that before it was not top of mind for most people. And now it seems to be like, as folks mature in this space, they're starting to realize the utter importance of having some basic security things intact. And also we're seeing that trend in Kubernetes, right, with their pod security standards and more things that they're starting to incorporate for users. So very exciting stuff. As Andy mentioned, we also have our first KyvernoCon. It is a half-day event and co-located event. We're insanely excited. Mostly we also had a huge turnout for CFPs and talks, and I think that was the most difficult decision I've ever had to make of who to include on the first schedule. It was frankly nerve-wracking. And then really intense conversations. But we have amazing end users and a lot of contributors who have joined from our very active community. So very excited about all of those things. Co-located day is, I think, my favorite day. It was also the first time I ever felt like I was really in a KubeCon. Was participating in a co-located event, so highly recommend them. Also, we have a lightning talk going on in the Project Pavilion, Project Lightning Talk that day as well. So very excited, looking forward to it. Last topic for the day. This is a big one. People hear about hallway track, and I'm always like, it's the best part of any KubeCon.
Oh, here we go.
Hallway track. It's hot, it's spicy, it's amazing. Like you find out so many things. But a lot of people don't really understand what that means and how to navigate that. So George, we're going to kick this conversation off with you because you very much are the heartbeat of CNCF. You're sitting in the middle of community all the time.
Yeah.
What is your advice for people to get out there and meet people and kind of start participating in that hallway track at KubeCon?
I always tell people, like start with a project pavilion. It's like your homeroom because that's where the projects are, and we have over 220 of them. So when you go in, think about maybe the projects that your organization is invested in. That's probably the number one thing I would tell to someone going in is like, find what's most important to your business project wise and go form a relationship with them. And that sounds very easy for people like us, but sometimes it isn't. So that's why people like me are around to ensure that happens. So that to me is the pathway to the hallway track, because what I'm trying to do is get engineer to engineer discussions happening between projects, end users, the people who make it, the people who sell it. Like the project pavilion is supposed to be like a vertical slice of open source where you kind of see the ecosystem at play. And from there, it kind of becomes very ad hoc, but I say you make your own luck. So if you see if you're in a networking, hang out by all the we put all the networking meshes, like their booths next to each other, right? Hang out there and you're going to find someone. And I'm always kind of looking for someone who is in the same general vicinity of your cloud native journey, right? So that could be someone that works at a company that's maybe the same size as you, or is along a certain way, or maybe they're in the same vertical, you know, banks all hang out together, all the people hang out together. And then you kind of tie that in with the social aspects of the stuff. That people's badges will have little colors on them, green, yellow, or red, on how vocal they want to be with you. So if you see green, I almost always strike something up. And so I try to do that like around the work areas. And then in the silliest places, standing in line waiting for the talk doors to open, you have everybody who's possibly interested in that session kind of sitting there. Um, you know, so that's a good place. And then lunch line. I noticed distributed nerds will have 10 open lines for lunch, and then everyone will go to the one, which I think is always funny to me to see Kubernetes nerds do that. But striking tables, we always have extra tables that are sitting around, rest areas. We got bean bags in the project pavilion. So we're trying to force you. We're trying to force you to like mingle and have those activities, and it can go all the way up to your trip there. There's people who've done a KubeCon train. I always end up seeing the same kind of people on the airplane, you know. So if you want to
Look
strike
for
up
the
a conversation there, wearing the right shirt might help you out,
Yeah.
you know, or avoiding the wrong shirt, you know, might help you out. There's all sorts of, I haven't even gotten to the parties yet, you know. So
Yeah, we'll get there. We will get there.
yeah.
Um, I know there are a lot of other things going on. Abby, talk a little bit about platform engineering coffee breaks, because those are one of my favorite places to find people that I actually have really, really enriching conversations with. So, and I know that there's more of them. Am I right?
The current group leads are doing a fantastic job, and they are actually making it more inclusive to have them. So just to back up, basically, I think what George was saying was figure out a way to like target a smaller community, get a foothold, and then that will help you gain access to more people. So I think that's really what you're looking for, whether it be you're looking for a certain business domain, if you're an end user and you want other people in that business domain, or a certain project or certain talk everyone's interested in. If you can find that, you can tend to make some friends, and then those friends introduce you to people.
Right.
And one of the places where you can get a bit of a foothold is the platform coffees. So this started as a pre-keynote event. Not everyone goes out late at the parties, and some of those that do still show up to the pre-KubeCon events, and it just gives you a chance to get started and go have people to sit with at the keynotes as well that are all interested in the same topic, and in this case, it's platform engineering. And so it tends to be somewhere between, I don't know, 10 and 30 people-ish, depending on the day and depending on
Ooh.
the location. And it's just talking about, you know, real boots on the ground experience with platform engineering, asking questions, answering, no speakers, no prepared things, just conversation. And they're extending it this year. So there's now going to be a few lunchtime sessions as well. So check out the platform engineering community group. It's on LinkedIn. It's on the CNCF pages. It's part of the technical community groups, and you'll see some fantastic ads about it. It's really looking forward to that. So.
Do you go to that?
Oh
I've
yeah,
never been.
that's like
Okay, I might
I
hang out
don't
with you.
ask me how I do
I
Yeah.
was just gonna
karaoke
say,
followed by platform coffee. I literally do what Andy says. I sleep a lot the weekend before and a lot the weekend after, and like pretty much not at all during the week. So,
Yeah.
but yes, I love it. So
I do think the first one that I went to was because I came across you somewhere, and then you very much like, you have to be there, you have to be there. If I'm going, you have to be there. Like, get up. And I was like, and for whatever reason, I was like, okay. And then I remember my alarm going off and having this moment of, oh my God, I can't believe I told
What
Abby I
what
was going to
what
be
time
there.
in the
But I
morning are we
went.
talking about here? Like how early?
It's like
so
7 a.m. It's like
I
super.
think that this year we aren't able to go quite as early. I
Oh,
actually, let me see if I can find. I'll try and find and then be able to say what exactly the times are. I didn't get involved in organizing this time. As I say, the technical community group leads have been doing a great job with that. And so,
Mm.
but yeah, no, it's like 7:30 because keynotes
Oh,
start at like 9, and nobody wants to be late for keynotes. So
yeah.
yeah, but we also tend to the CNCF supports ambassadors with community support, and so we often can splurge for a few coffees for people as well. So it's a good incentive to get people to come, depending on how many people show up and what the timing is. We can sometimes get you a coffee as well.
Yeah, they're great. They're great networking opportunities and super friendly people. Andy, swag. Tell me, you have swagger, so tell me about the swag because vendor floor and how people can navigate that. We're talking about getting up at 7 a.m. to go have your platform engineering community coffee, go to the keynotes, and you've got all of these events and talks, but then people get to the vendor floor and they have no idea what to do with that other than gather swag. So how can they kind of navigate that to make the most of their time and not just fill their tote bag?
Well, I think a good, self-reflective, healthy individual may have got up and gone for a run before their platform coffee experience, and therefore may actually require some of the new socks that they would procure en masse at incredible scale. For many years, I could dress only in cloud native socks. I mean, if you want to avoid being sort of dragged in by the bright, shiny lights, then I'd actually heading to an area where, sort of says things are reasonably co-located. Obviously, startups are sort of all in the same area, and understanding, what is the coming proposition? What is where is the money being invested? Let's say, and certainly looking at new startups. Supply chain is obviously a big feature of those over the past couple of years. More widely than that, there are lots of other interesting areas around. Certainly near the conference floor, we always run a CTF event. So there is a learning outcome driven capture the flag, and that is to raise the bar for cloud native security. It is not intended for security professionals to come in and sort of cowboy pew
Nerd
pew the
snipe
Wild
everybody.
West. Exactly. It's very much from the ground up, first principles, and that there are people on hand to guide people through. That's a healthy kind of decompression zone. There is swag in there as well, though. I would warn. One of my favorite things is finding Duffy with whatever stickers he's printed out for the year. That's normally a
Yes.
winner. And stickers in general.
Yeah.
I can show you the lid of this laptop, but it would affect the camera. But yes, collecting cloud native stickers so that in 10 years time, you've still got an original Rocket Netties sticker, for example,
Yeah.
is just nerd sniping techniques, I think is all I'm really talking about at this point.
I have my original helm sock. I have the Deus helm socks. I think
There you go.
somewhere.
Whoa,
Yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
At this point, too precious to wear, likely.
Yes. Yeah. I want to highlight the stickers because we spent a logistical amount to put the sticker booth in the
You've
project
done a
pavilion.
great job. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely get those because those are the real deal. And a lot of people like Duffy have their personalized stickers. I always bring my dinosaurs, these out, that kind of stuff.
I don't know if I can.
And then the KubeCon shirt for that event that you get. They're all unique and they always have something from the local place that it is. So I tend to collect those.
Yeah, the shirts are cool. There's an entire you can now buy. I'm shilling relentlessly for tag security and compliance, but you can now buy the Cloud Native Raccoon sweatshirts should you so desire. And yeah, I mean, to your point, the actual pavilion stickers of the Cloud Native projects, they really
Oh yeah,
disappear.
the line is huge. The minute the
Yeah.
show floor opens, that line is packed.
And if I'd have realized as a younger man that there was an opportunity to have a job refilling sticker bins
Yeah.
and therefore being the king of my own sticker campaign, I may have taken a very different path.
And
So
Chin is refilling those things constantly. Like
yeah,
people love them. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, props for providing so many.
Stickers, socks, and I think one thing that people never think about is a reusable water bottle.
Water bottles.
But it's inevitably one of the first things that at some point I start losing my voice on the second day, and I'm like, I need a water bottle.
Yes.
And then end up having amazing learning conversations with the vendor who's giving them out. I think is also one of those things. A lot of times people just look at the swag, but the truth is the vendor floor is an incredible place to learn insane amounts of things sometimes even more so than what you're going to learn in the talk, because those people are talking to others who are like you all day,
Yeah.
every day. Right. And so they are speaking the exact language, they're solving the actual problems that you really do have. And if they're not, they want to know what problem you have so they can solve it. I think the vendor pavilion is oftentimes overlooked as just being a showcase, but the truth is, there's huge amounts of knowledge going on
Yeah.
there, as well as a change of socks,
There's a
uh,
stage there as well for them.
and a water
Uh,
bottle.
yeah. Can I mention something about the showcase? So like,
Sure, please
one of
do.
the things that I think that makes KubeCon very interesting, having grown up in open source, there's like community conferences and then there's like super vendory conferences. What's cool about the cloud native ecosystem is like you can run and build everything yourself, pure open source. Like there are companies that just do that, all the way over to I just want to buy a thing and not do anything. I just want to buy a product. And then you have everything in between. And all those models are there at KubeCon. So if you want to run your own stuff and you want to stick to the open source stuff, that's fine. If you want a pure vendor play, you can do that. If you want a little of something or both, that's why I tell attendees have a strategic plan of what things are important to your organization going ahead of time. Because there are going to be times where you're like, oh man, we almost built our own thing. I'm glad we bought that. Or also, oh, I'm glad we built our own thing instead of buying that one. And we're not gonna. It's not up to me to tell you whether that's a good idea or not. That's up to your organization. So like, I try to tell people, yeah, it's an open source conference and a commercial conference. But finding that balance is something that obviously we take very seriously, and it's on top of everyone's mind, and we make it work. So that's why it's become one of my favorite conferences, because you can do awesome open source stuff in 1 hour and then save a bunch of money the next hour, and it's like awesome.
Now, we have a handful of questions here in the chat, so we'll go through the questions and then we'll wrap up with a little bit about a social and after hour parties, because that's always something that people should know about as well. So first question, we'll probably have you answer, Andy, because they want to know, for SecurityCon co-located event, do you have any pointers about what's covered versus the main days on security-oriented tracks? Why would somebody want to go to SecurityCon and not just focus on main track security talks?
I can't speak for the co-chairs, but certainly the way that we used to delineate was the main security track in the conference is there for users of cloud native software and Kubernetes for securing things that are in the landscape and to bring people along on the journey. It's educative, it's expositive, it's an exposition, it's presenting use cases. The contrary, or the corollary for that, sorry, the early morning flights kicking in. The corollary to that is the 0 day, which is practitioner driven. It goes deeper under the skin of the problem space. And it may include projects that are not directly under the CNCF, but are more broadly under the Linux Foundation. So intersection with OpenSSF projects, especially, for example, Cosign's designed to sign containers, but it's in the OpenSSF. So leaving space for those topics that are deeply intersectional and necessary for wider ecosystem and platform security without kind of bum rushing the main event with a load of very deep technical stuff that may put people off, and especially working on that 50% first time attendees. Certainly we welcome those sort of numbers at the 0 days. I think often new attendees don't book their travel before they've really got a view on what is there for the 0 day, and then you're potentially traveling on a weekend, or you can ask for an extra day off work, or whatever that looks like. So yeah, certainly if anyone would like to change their travel and attend, it is well worth it. Lovely people, and it's the best place to find authors of various different bits of software and say, why is this not playing nicely together? And watch the triple Spider-Man, and then try and find a happy, peaceful accord.
Very cool. Great. I'm sure that gave them more than enough to think about there, and possibly change their travel. A couple of other questions. One we've kind of, I think, answered was with so many co-located events on the first day, how do you choose between them? And I think we've kind of said, like, think about what's important for you, what's important for your professional development, what's important for your company. Go to different events at different co-located. You don't have to spend all day in one, right? It's not like, oh, I'm picking platform engineering day and I'm going to sit there all day long and only go with that track. You can bounce back and forth between co-located events. And I think that's something a lot of people, when they're considering buying that pass or not, they're not aware of. You're not buying it for one specific event. They ask you which ones you're interested in to have some idea of space. But the reality is you can go back and forth and go to one talk in each if you want to spend your day that day. You don't have to just stay in one.
It is just worth saying that it is a less structured day. So unlike the main event where talks will start and finish specifically on time, you won't miss one talk because a talk in a different room went long and so forth. The colos tend to have a little more flexibility of start time and end time of their talks. So if you are thinking about going back and forth, just making sure to leave yourself a bit of a gap to make sure that you get to the talks that are your highest priority is the only thing I would recommend.
And divide and conquer too. If your organization is sending multiple people, spider out, you know. Be like, yeah, we went to that thing, ends up it's not what we needed. And then I accidentally ran on this other one on the way back and I popped in there. You know, that's always, that happens all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have one more, and this is a fantastic question. Because truthfully, a year and a half ago, I did not know the difference. The person is asking, can someone speak to what ContribFest is, its value, and the difference between ContribFest and Maintainer Summit? What is the difference between ContribFest and Maintainer Summit?
I could talk about Maintainer Summit. I think we're rebranding Contrib Summit, but now I just realized I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I don't know. But let me just talk about Maintainer Summit
You
anyway.
got it here, folks.
Yeah. Because projects get a certain amount of reserved slots, right, for being like graduated and things like that. But the big one that's hitting off, this is our third one doing it, second one in a bigger KubeCon is the Maintainer Summit. And it used to be the Kubernetes Summit, and now we're just doing it for everybody. It's like it's very select group of people. I think it's about 400 people, and that's like a co-located event that happens. And this is like the twice a year the maintainers actually get together and solve really, really tough problems. That's not really something that's available to general attendees. However, you just need to know that it happens and that important people are meeting and things like that. Usually what does happen though is that subsequent talks that are public, the people that attended the Maintainer Summit will say things like, and then we met at the Maintainer Summit and decided this is what the roadmap's going to look like, blah, blah, blah. So that's there. I recommend for your projects, go to the maintainer tracks. They have their own maintainer sessions. And usually the projects are organized enough that they will tell you how to get started. Here's our contributor guide. Here's our best thing. We're always kind of changing around with the formats. I want to make more things like ContribFest, but to target different audiences, you know, like a ContribFest for you and I would be different than a ContribFest for targeting a bank or something, you know. So we're always constantly listening to feedback and things like that. So
yeah, I think I don't know deeply. I haven't been deeply involved with the ContribFest, but my understanding is there's different levels of engagement with projects, and maintainers are kind of the tip of the spear. They're very kind of high end. There's only a few maintainers per project. They're in charge of sort of the direction and the engagement of the project, but there's a lot more contributors than there are maintainers. There's a lot more people who create issues and pull requests and comment on issues to share more context and all of these aspects of helping open source be successful than being just that final maintainer level. And so I think ContribFest is about welcoming new contributors, engaging people in understanding that breadth of things you can do, and as well as helping people meet the maintainers that might be on the other side of those pull requests and those issues that there are sometimes heated discussions between. And so I think that's one of the opportunities where we talk about taking advantage of the hallway track at KubeCon and getting to
Yeah.
meet maintainers and meet the people behind projects, this is a spot. But I don't know if it's evolving. So George on the hot press here.
I don't know either, but I do know that we have reserved tables at the project pavilion for projects to do ad hoc meetings, and there's always almost someone meeting there talking about something. And it's enough people that they were just in our group and said, hey, let's go grab a few tables. And some projects will sit there for 3 hours, or some will meet for 15 minutes. You never know.
Our Kyverno project is definitely participating in Contrib Fest. We also participated in the previous one. And mostly what we focus on during our Contrib Fest event is helping people learn how to actually get started in contributing to an open source project. There's so many people. I mean, we're talking about thousands of people show up at this event, and they all are end users of some sort of open source tool or a bunch of them. They have no idea how to actually contribute, and they want to. They want to be involved. They want to get out there and meet other people. But they clearly understand how to use GitHub. But they don't really know how to navigate your actual project repo and the code base and figure out what part of the project they might be interested in contributing to. And so we spend our 45 minutes or hour that we have basically welcoming people into the community and saying, okay, by the time you leave here, you will at least have contributed something to open source. You'll understand how our repo works, what the code base is, a little bit about how to actually navigate this type of situation. And if you contribute to our repo, great. You could start with documentation. You can write it, because oftentimes it's what we tell people, start with documentation. They have no idea what that actually means.
That was my first contribution to Kubernetes, docs.
It's a straightforward way to make a contribution, but oftentimes people, it is intimidating. You're looking at documentation in a project that you're not involved in. You don't know if the change that you're making is right or wrong unless it's punctuation or spelling, right? And even that, depending on what's going on, that might even be questionable. And so we spend a lot of time just telling people how friendly open source actually is.
Yeah.
And
fundamentally, that's the number one problem we're trying to fix, right? You have people that are making open source and people consuming open source. Where's that happy middle where they feel empowered to come help?
Then there's a maintainer summit where people argue about the roadmap, the features that they're going to.
Oh yeah.
The
probably a good reason those are closed door.
Come join the community. Cool. So let's wrap up here. A couple of things, if anyone wants to share, after parties, social events, other things that people should be signing up for or keeping in their agenda, because a lot of networking goes on and a lot of friend making goes on at after party events. Anyone want to give a shout out to something that they're planning to attend?
We have Sig Boba, which is alcohol-free, suitable for children. That is on the first evening. He says slow motion. Abby's nodding her head with a degree of certainty.
On Wednesday.
Sorry,
it's on Wednesday. So
Wednesday.
Yes.
The other Monday.
Because I had that one up to try and share as well, because I just think sometimes it's nice to have the non-alcohol driven events and things.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think going and finding events that are a bit different are really fun. So I'm super excited that my company's involved with a bunch of other great companies putting on a party at the aquarium on Wednesday night.
Man.
So if you would like to go to cool locations, have a look for what parties are there. And I personally I'm a scuba diver, so I'm stoked to go see some water and some animals.
If you've never been to Atlanta, that aquarium, they have whale sharks, 3.
Oh, so exciting. They're so big.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing. For me, I'm gonna say the booth crawl, because that's when the pavilion is hopping and like everyone is packed into that area, and then they're in the middle with the open source projects, watching people just vibe in and chill in and getting the groove on. That's my favorite part of KubeCon more than anything else, is just watching people having a good time.
The booth crawl is great. The aquarium sounds amazing. I know that Crossplane community is doing a putt-putt golf
What?
event yeah. Yeah.
Hmm?
They're doing a putt-putt golf event, which will be very fun. I've attended quite a few Sig Bobas. They're just ridiculously fun. Sometimes video games, sometimes always boba tea, sometimes chicken, sometimes noodles, sometimes anything and everything. But they're absolutely great. We also are going to have a KyvernoCon FluxCon barbecue. So if you
Ooh.
want to come celebrate our inaugural events, both KyvernoCon and FluxCon after party, we will have a barbecue on co-located event day. So it will be great. I know lots of people really love a House of Cube, which is if you're into dancing and DJing, that seems to be a crowd pleaser. So I think there's probably something for everyone,
We
Gotta
just
actually.
need a
take
live band,
karaoke,
Courtney.
Courtney. What are you missing here? You
Yeah,
I
know?
know.
a live band, Courtney. That's what we need.
That's what that's what we need. That's what we need.
Ambassador live band. We're gonna make it happen
No,
someday.
now
We're gonna
we're
make it happen someday.
Well, there
gonna
is a Cube Jam going on,
Yep.
courtesy of yeah, I think Mr. Bart Farrell. I'm not actually sure.
Oh yeah.
Um,
That's
on
that's
one
a
of the
good KubeCon
days.
tip. Find Bart and
Yeah.
follow him wherever he goes.
Do, 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 do.
Always a good time.
Oh, we have one of our attendees shared a link to conferenceparties.com
Yep.
/con25. So that is exactly where you can go and register for any of your after party or networking events that you're interested in. Um, we didn't think we had that much to talk about when we were backstage getting ready to get started for
Yeah.
this, but turns out we took up almost all of our time. Pretty great.
We should try to get a picture at KubeCon. If you came to this
Yeah.
thing, try to find us somewhere, wherever we are.
Absolutely. Try to pull everyone together.
Yeah.
That's actually my final question for each of you before we sign off. If somebody wants to find you at KubeCon or on social media or anywhere else in the upcoming weeks, where can they do so? George, go for it.
Middle of the project pavilion. I'm at CastroJO on GitHub, and I've got my contact information there. You can ping me on Kubernetes and CNCF Slack.
Great. Andy, what about you?
I am Sublimino everywhere that it is worth being. I will be. Oh, where will I not be? Well, I'll be there early recuperating, so or pre-recuperating rather. So please give me some bandwidth. But then it will be the 0 days. So SecurityCon, Kyverno, Argo, Flux, all that, the platform, all that good stuff on the first day about securing and delivering big, difficult things. Security track for a lot of day two. A lot of my colleagues are speaking. ControlPlane has lots of accessible security stuff, so I'll be at all of those, waving a very small flag, and at as many of the evening events, propping up the bar and crying into my drink at the prospect of getting up early the next day as possible. Oh, and also I'm going to go and see a Treu on Friday evening if
Oh,
any
wow.
of your emo roots are screaming for such a thing.
Wow. Wow.
I know where Abby's going to be. You're going to be on that stage, huh?
I'm gonna
The
be in
big one.
all sorts of places. So platform engineering day, I'll be there. Yeah, and I'll be on the keynote stage. So I'll be welcoming you all and sharing all the awesome keynotes that we have coming up. And then throughout the week, I will be actively looking for feedback about the event because I'll be involved as well as a co-chair in both Amsterdam and LA. So please come find me
Ooh.
and tell me all the things you love and hate and ideas for the future, and I will take all of that on board excitedly. So yeah, come find me. I'll be also at the Syntasso booth. We're at this is American Z39, or for my current country, Z39. I don't know. Depends on who you are, where you are. But yeah, so come. That's for the platform engineering day, and then the main booth is number 1763. So I'll be at those booths and also just walking around and looking for feedback. So come find me.
Very
And
cool.
of course, CNCF Slack and LinkedIn as well, virtually. So
Always, yes. And if for anyone who's looking to get involved in Kyverno community, you are more than welcome to find me if you can. I will be all morning at KyvernoCon on 0 day, on their co-located event day, hosting that event, but also popping into Cloud Native University to do a quick lightning talk about how to get involved in tech from a non-technical background.
Nice.
Something that I think is super important for folks who are out there looking to adjust and change their life. And also popping into Platform Engineering Day to give a talk with my friend Prithvi. So very excited that's going to be and a Project Lightning talk. That's going to be the
Wow.
busiest day I think I've ever had at a KubeCon.
Yes.
So try not to catch me on that Monday. But Wednesday, Thursday, things calm down quite a bit. You can definitely catch Andy and myself probably at our KyvernoCon FluxCon after party, celebrating our events. Nirmata booth is located at 1340. It's booth number 1340. Kyverno has a booth in the project pavilion. I will be there all morning, every single day once the conference gets started. Giving a workshop with some friends from CrossPlane and Argo and Backstage. So
Ooh, that's a
come to that
combo.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a very, very cool workshop. And the rest of the time, if you see me walking around, please say hi. I will definitely have green stickers all over my badge. And if you look like you're being shy and you don't want to talk to anybody, watch out because I'll come straight for you and be like,
Oh,
hi,
no.
what do you
unless
do?
you have a red sticker on, and then she will be
Yes.
Have a red
respectful.
sticker on?
Yeah.
I'll just like look at you knowingly. Like
Yeah,
you
yellow is you can
should know
talk to me
before
if
you
you know
go
me, I
webinar,
think.
weren't you?
Yeah.
Put on the red sticker because you already know what you need to do here. So Abby, George, Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure. I am so excited to see all of you very soon in person in carbon
Gonna be
form
great.
in Atlanta.
And thank you so much for hosting us.
Yes,
Takes a
this
lot
is
of work
gonna
to
be
put together
great.
this
Thanks
a
everyone for
group
listening
with a
in.
great subject. So thank you for that.
Of course. Absolutely. This has been great. Thanks so much. And we'll talk to everybody again soon.
See you
Safe
there.
travels.
Bye.